No matter, but I just wanted you to know.
Okay.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
The following program is paid for by Glazer and Associates. The views and opinions expressed in this content do not reflect those of 850 WFTL.
In South Florida, and we're live on YouTube on the Condo, Craze, and HOAs channel. Welcome. I'm Karen Curtis, and I'm here again today with attorney Eric Glazer from Glazer and Sachs, PA. Eric is board certified by the Florida Bar and Community Association Law and Plan Development Law. He's board certified. Only a handful of attorneys are in that specialty. The firm has attorneys in Fort Lauderdale and Orlando, and we're here each week to answer all your calls and emails about the issues that make life in your condominium or your HOA absolutely crazy from 1 minute to the next. And we'd love to get the phone lines going early or YouTube chat going early, answering all of your condo and HOA questions, no matter where you are in the state or the country or the world. You can call us toll free, 877-850-8585. Again, 877-850-8585. Or you can visit us on Condo, Craze, and HOAs online too, right, Eric?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning, everybody. If you're a fan of the show, like Karen was saying, do two things. Number one, subscribe to our YouTube channel, right? And you can watch the show live, ask questions in our chat, and, of course, you can see any previous show that we've done. And, of course, what I say all the time, join our email list, because by joining our email list, you wind up getting a lot of information about new laws, seminars that are available, stuff about the show. And you can join our email list just by going to the firm's website at condo-laws.com or the Condo Craze website at condocrazeandhoas.com. And we do a blog, of course, every Monday morning at hoa-condoblog.com. Tomorrow's topic, which we'll touch on a little bit today, proxies, clarifying the confusion. I've been doing a lot of elections and a lot of amendments to declarations, and not everybody really knows what a proxy is used for and when you could use it. But before we actually start going, today is a big day for the show, big day for me. Longtime listeners of the show will remember my little son, Brandon, starting the show at like 2, 3, 4 years old.
Yes.
Right? And saying, like, welcome to Condo Craze, as like a little baby.
So cute.
Well, guess who's running the entire YouTube side of the show today?
Let's go, Brandon.
You stole my damn line. I was just going to say that. You stole my line. So I'm very proud to say Brandon, after starting the show as a little baby, is now handling all the audio, all the video, and everything having to do with the YouTube stuff. I looked at it. It looks too scary for me. I have no idea.
Oh, no, there's no way.
What's going on. So like
So
you said, Karen, let's go Brandon today. And the readers, the listeners can decide for themselves whether or not there's a hidden political messages there.
So, you had Robert set the whole thing up. He's done a great job.
Absolutely.
And it's you have no idea what went into it.
Absolutely.
I'm in West Palm Beach. You're in Hollywood.
Yep.
We're talking to each other at the same time you see us on YouTube.
And the
then
listeners come
VJ
through as well.
and
VJ
the
handling it on his end.
You've got the audio going through the board and the phones and everybody, and it all works.
Yep,
and it's just amazing. It's
people don't realize there's a lot of people that help make it all work each week.
Yes.
So I got to say thank you to everybody. But and I got another thank you before we get started. I want to thank Jim DeFeedy from CBS News for having me on his show last week, which is Facing South Florida, where, in all candor, I tore into the Florida legislature for doing nothing, absolutely nothing, to prevent another Surfside tragedy. That's a tragedy in and of itself, really is.
Yeah, they renamed the show for you for that episode. Face it, South Florida.
Oh, right, exactly.
Yeah, but I also hear that 60 Minutes reached out to you as well. I hope it's Leslie Stahl.
Yeah, the producer of 60 Minutes did reach out, and this is important for you listeners out there. I gave a long interview to 60 Minutes about...
On camera?
No, it was not on camera yet, but let me tell you what's coming. But I gave him a long interview about the perfect storm, like I always refer to, that's coming to condominiums, and especially to those on fixed incomes, and they were very interested about it.
Well, I'm sure they are, because kind of pokes a little bit at Governor DeSantis too,
Right,
but it's the
exactly.
truth. It's
Yeah.
the truth, right?
Of course, absolutely.
And when you say perfect storm, what are you exactly referring to again?
So like I said, when you think about what's happening to the condo market, you have rising astronomical insurance rates. It's going to soon be the inability to waive reserve funding, and if you don't have a reserve, the need to fund it and catch up quickly. You're going to have more frequent building inspections that you're going to have to pass. It's going to be required that reserve studies be done only by licensed architects and engineers. And you have the engineered life safety system requirement or fire sprinkler requirement all in the next 18 months. And when you put all of that together, that simply adds up to the perfect storm and a financial tragedy for many people on fixed incomes, which our state, is certainly known for. We have, an elderly population.
So this is all happening without them passing a single law after the Surfside collapse?
Correct, because they're afraid to pass any laws
So
because
they're
they're afraid
condos-
that this is going to happen, but
It's
is
gonna
no
happen
way
anyway?
around it. It has to. There's no way around it. Listen, the state didn't act, right?
Right,
The state
right.
didn't pass any new laws this year regarding building inspections.
Right,
The
right.
city of Boca Raton decided and said, okay, the state won't act, then we'll do it by ourselves. So the
Okay.
city of Boca Raton instituted mandatory inspections.
So here we go. Because before Surfside, it was only Miami-Dade Broward that had to do the
Right.
inspections, not Palm Beach County. So Boca now
Boca
is
now
the
requires
first
it.
city is north of Broward that's
Yep.
doing it on their own
On
without the
their-
legislature.
Without the legislature, right? You legislatures are going to be lazy and not do it, but now
Well, you have to be
we'll
fair.
Require it here. Exactly.
Well, was it the House that passed or the Senate that passed it unanimously?
The Senate passed it.
So the House and the House didn't even bring it up.
The House didn't even let it go to a vote.
Okay. So what
So-
did 60 Minutes want to know?
Okay, so our listeners should really be interested in this. What 60 Minutes wanted to know, because I can tell you they found it absolutely shocking that all of this is happening in Florida all at once, and again that the legislature did nothing this year to fix it. And
Really?
the producer of the show feels that there's a story here that needs to be told to the rest of the country. He
Sure.
really believes this is a national story. And, what's the story, basically? Before you retire to Florida, don't get me wrong, we still want you to come here, but you better do some homework regarding the place that you're going to buy into, because you might have the cash for a down payment, but in a year or two, you may not be able to afford it.
Yeah,
So
your monthly maintenance
Right.
will go up higher than your mortgage.
don't move into a place that's 30 years old with no
Right.
reserve funding, no
That's
fire
over
sprinklers.
3 stories tall.
Yeah, six, but I mean, it's what could happen to you is insane. But here's the deal. Here's what I want our listeners to know. The producers of 60 Minutes actually asked me to find out if there are board members out there, condo board members out there, who would like to be on the show.
Oh.
Yeah, and who would like to actually give interviews about what they're being faced with and how difficult it is now to be a board member with all these new requirements coming.
They're not being paid.
No, they're not. So if you are a board member and you're faced with the types of issues right now and it's becoming overwhelming for the people that live there, 60 Minutes wants to speak to you. So
So if you're in Boca,
yeah, absolutely. Email me, right? What's my email address? Eric, E-R-I-C, at condo-laws.com. Eric at condo-laws.com. Email me, tell me what condo you're
Here.
from, tell me that you're a board member, and that's
I'm putting it up
information
on- I'm
that,
putting it up on the
putting it
YouTube
up- Yeah,
channel.
that's information that I'm going to share with 60 Minutes because, again, they really, truly think because the whole country retires here, it's a national story that people need to be made aware of.
It is at condo-laws.com. So, yeah, I think you're going to get Scott Pelley then on this one.
Yeah, it's
They're going to talk to you on camera, of course.
100%. Yeah, they're going to do a national story.
Oh,
on Florida.
My
It's
gosh,
coming.
you're like Mr. Media.
Yeah, it's
you're
well, listen, it's a story that needs to be told. You don't want to see people come here, retirees from out of state, and all of a sudden they wind up getting foreclosed on. In a year, they saved up money to move to Florida. They put it down on a condo, and then all of a sudden the building needs reserves, special assessments, and they can't afford it. So we want to avoid that. But let's get back to basics for a minute. So again, just if you want to be on 60 Minutes, let us know here, okay? Again, just
I put
chat
if you're
board
if you're
or give us an email.
If you're a board member dealing with the new inspections, the rises and reserve special assessments, contact Eric.
Exactly. All right, so let's talk about what topic I had scheduled for today, and it's proxies, because I've been doing a lot of elections, I've been doing a lot of document amendments, and everybody's confused what that proxy form can be used for. But let's try to simplify it if we can. Owners in a condo, you can vote by proxy to waive the funding of a reserve account. You know that. But that term proxy, it's often thrown around incorrectly. But what is a proxy? In simple English, a proxy means that if I can't make it to the meeting, I'm giving you permission to vote on my behalf. Okay? Or I can make it a limited proxy where I'm giving you permission to count me towards the number needed for a quorum, but I'm not going to give you the power to vote for me. So that's the bottom line. You only use a proxy, though, when you can't make it to the meeting. And you can give that proxy holder a little power, a lot of power, and it all depends upon how the proxy reads itself, how it is written.
Okay, and a quorum of owners in attendance by person or by proxy, it's required in order to have an annual election, right?
Yeah, correct, right, exactly.
So let's say you
HOA
can't.
is.
Okay, so let's say you can't make it to the annual meeting, but you know that your neighbor Joe is going, and you can execute a limited proxy form simply authorizing Joe to show up for you in order that your attendance be counted toward a quorum.
Right, that's what's typically it's used for. And especially in a condo, you're just giving your proxy to someone so that your attendance is counted towards a quorum. But in the example you just gave, you can give Joe more power.
Oh.
And you can sign a general proxy, and that allows Joe the ability to do all things on your behalf as if you were present. And that may include actually voting in the annual election in an HOA, or voting to waive reserves, or voting on amendments to the documents, or all other different types of powers. But the big difference between condos and HOAs when it comes to proxies is that in an HOA, proxies are allowed when voting in the election. This is such a big, crucial difference between condos and HOAs. In an HOA, you can use proxies. In an HOA, you don't actually need your neighbor's vote in order to win the election. You simply need their proxy. Understand?
Yeah.
If the neighbor just signs the proxy giving you their right to vote on their behalf, that's all you need. On the night of the election, you show up with a dozen proxies. Guess what? You win. You get 12 ballots, right?
Okay.
So each proxy that you get from your neighbor converts into a ballot.
Okay.
Like, here's my proxy for Sam. Now give me Sam's ballot. If you get enough of them, you control the election. And that's the bottom line. That's why in the condo, you're not allowed to use it. In HOA, you wind up knocking on doors, right? Making sure that you get that proxy.
Use it.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, I just have to take a slight hard right. Yesterday at the Preakness, the race before the Preakness, the horse that won was named Joe.
Oh, okay.
And the horse that won the Preakness was named Early Voting.
No.
Yes,
you didn't make that up.
Followed by The Big Lie, followed by Fake News, and mail-in ballot.
Hey, let's do this before we finish up on proxies. Let's take our first break of the hour. Taking your calls, taking your chats, comments on YouTube.
Checks. Taking your checks.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Taking your chats. But we'll take your checks, too.
Checks.
Give us a call, 877-850-8585.
Oh, no! An unexpected leak. know that's no way to solve a roof problem. Call Best Roofing. We solve roof problems.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
There are very large management companies, and there are very small management companies, and I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back-of-the-house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
Welcome back to Condo, Craze, and HOAs here on 850 WFTL. Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer. He specializes in community association law. If you're living in a condo or an HOA, you want to pay attention because there's a lot coming down the pike, including Eric being on 60 Minutes to talk about all the stuff that's coming down the road.
They want to do a story on Florida, and just not preventing people from moving here, just being careful where you move, quite frankly. Let's look at our board. What kind of questions we got? John writes in, does the DBPR help with material alterations when it's addressed in the doc? We do have a 2/3 vote and a dollar amount? No, no, I shouldn't say that. If it's a material alteration that a board is doing, and your documents specifically describe that a 2/3 vote is necessary, and they try to do it anyway, then yes, the DBPR will help, right, if you file a complaint. Or if you file an arbitration petition, an arbitrator will put a stop to the material alteration and potentially make the board put it back. And remember, I drafted that law that came out 2 years ago that makes it clear that that vote has to be taken before the material alteration
Yes.
is made. Right. So
That's a big
it
mistake they
sounds
make.
like a no-brainer, but all right, what else we got? We got a bunch of congratulations for Brandon. That's great. Bunch of
Yay.
good mornings. Marie thinks that 60 Minutes just wants to go after Florida. I'm sure they do want to go after
Yeah,
Florida.
be careful, Eric, with them.
Yeah, I don't
They
doubt
do
it.
edit. They edit.
Of
It's
course.
a whole thing.
Yep, I get it. I understand. But listen, like I said last week, if you simply follow your party blindly, no matter what they do, that doesn't make you too smart, quite
Right,
frankly. And here, the Republicans screwed up, like it or not. They had absolute total control to have some safety measures, and they did nothing. Okay, on that, how about we take our first phone call of the day? Barry in Miami.
Yeah, hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hey,
Eric.
Barry,
Hi,
how are you?
Brandon. I'm good.
Barry, you were in the
Suppose I'm a
Galapagos
board
Islands
member.
recently, right?
You were?
He was sending me pictures from
I
there.
was, but I wasn't able to call you from there. It wasn't going through, so I got back yesterday.
Wait for Elon Musk to get all those Starlink satellites up there. You'll be able to call
Right.
from anywhere.
What's up, Barry?
Okay, that would have been cool to call.
It would have.
So suppose I'm a board. Yeah. Suppose I'm a board member of a Surfside type Champlain Towers. We waive reserves year after year. We need a concrete restoration project badly. It's a necessary repair. It's not a material alteration. And our declaration requires a unit owner vote for a special assessment.
Okay.
Now, our board has always presented an alternative budget, and the unit owners have waived reserves year after year after year.
Okay.
But now, in light of Surfside, I'm suggesting to our board that they have a special assessment for these necessary concrete restoration project. And the question is, can the board impose a special assessment without a unit owner vote, even though the declaration requires a unit owner vote for special assessment?
This is a great question, Barry, because it comes up all the time. And a lot of times, boards will tell me, what do we do here? It says we need everybody's permission to pass a special assessment to fix the place.
But it has to
we
be
need
done.
everybody's permission to borrow money, but the building is falling and things are not safe. I can tell you what sometimes you'll see actually in the governing documents it will say the budget cannot increase by more than 10% in a given year. And you're like, that's a BS requirement in a document. Insurance just tripled for some condominiums.
Right.
So I will tell you that a board, again, what's most important about the statute is the statute makes it very clear that when you're a board member, you owe every single member that lives there a fiduciary obligation to act in their best interest. And their best interest is to make sure that the building doesn't fall down.
So you would
need
tell
repairs, if you need repairs, and I tell clients this all the time, I don't care. I really don't care if the declaration has some sort of limitation on it. No chance. It's your job as a board member to fix the place up, keep it safe, pass a budget that pays the bills, regardless of any other provisions in your governing documents. I think the legislature needs to clarify that, but I would have no problem if there's a requirement. If it's a repair, remember you said it's a repair, then no question the board has the ability to do that without a unit owner vote.
But
now,
Eric, if I'm moving into this place and I want to buy and I look at the docs, I think I'm safe. That doesn't seem fair to me if I'm going to move in and then suddenly you're going to give a special assessment that's going to bankrupt me.
And it's a great argument, which is why you'll see in STOPA letters, not only are there any special assessments pending, sometimes you'll see are there any special assessments being considered within the next year. And so some people rely on that.
So you can't rely on the docs, though, you're saying?
Potentially, I'm telling you that a board's hands cannot be tied by the requirements of not getting the official vote. I mean, suppose you took a vote of everybody, in the Champlain Towers. You think you would have gotten 2/3, 3/4 of the people to vote in favor?
Actually, I think they did, didn't they?
No,
they did. They passed a special assessment.
Yeah, but the board did it. The board, right? So if you would require the members of the community to vote in favor of a special assessment, how many times do you think that would happen? Pretty close to never.
Never.
Right? So it's tough to be a board, and I understand your question, Barry. Do the documents limit the board member? And my answer to that is no way. There's cases after cases out there that make it very clear. And I don't mean arbitration cases. I mean court cases. I mean appellate cases that say the board has a fiduciary obligation
Well,
to
doesn't
maintain
that
the property.
render the documents moot? Because I thought the documents superseded law.
Well, you have a statute that says you have to maintain the property. There's a statute that says you act as a fiduciary. So, again, if your documents make it difficult, if not impossible, to do that, I'm going to say the statute prevails, and you follow what your heart tells you to do and fix that damn building. So that's my take on it, Barry. We had a great phone call. Thanks for waking me up. Appreciate it. How about we go to John and Dania?
Yeah.
John.
Yes. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Karen.
Hey, John. How are you?
Good morning. Hey, two things, and I'll be quick as always. Number one, we're having our monthly meeting on Tuesday, and of course, one of the agenda items is recording of meetings.
Yes. And
I've been recording the meetings for years, and the easiest way for me to record is on my phone.
Right.
I video record the meetings. So this is directed at me. Now, I can guarantee you what they're going to say is you can no longer video record meetings. Okay, I guarantee you that's what they're after. Do you think that's reasonable and that would be upheld?
No, absolutely not, because there's a statute right on point that gives you the ability to record the meetings. And it applies both in the HOA statute and it applies in the condo statute. No question about it.
Right.
As long as...
But if they say we're going to make a reasonable rule that you can no longer video record, but you can audio record. Would
No,
that be reasonable?
no, absolutely not, because the statute would trump that. So you're absolutely allowed to videotape your meetings. What you can't do, okay? I'm going to read it to you right now. This is from the HOA statute. Any parcel owner may tape record or videotape meetings of the board.
Is that
and
718?
Meetings of the members. That's 720 for HOA members. The board of directors may adopt reasonable rules governing the taping of meetings of the board. So what would that mean? The condo, the Section 61B, the administrative code for condos lays out what might be, considered reasonable. Right, reasonable rules. Reasonable rules mean you can't set up a tripod and block everybody's view. You can't have equipment that emits annoying light or sound and interrupts, the meeting. But other than that, if you're not bothering everybody, you're off to the side, you're holding your phone, just like everybody else is holding their phone, except yours is turned to the camera position and videoing the meeting, no problem, and there's no way in the world that an HOA can stop that. No chance.
Okay, fine. Yeah, and I hold the phone up, and then if it goes from one side of the table to the other, I don't leave. I'm in my seat, and I simply point the phone at the person that's talking.
As long as you're not bothering anybody, you're not creating a disturbance, no problem. You're fine.
Fantastic. Okay, now number two. You sent me a very interesting article about a rogue president in or near Kissimmee confiscating garbage cans. And I did. Right. I watched that with great interest. And then I also read, as I researched it a little bit more, that president 2 years later was actually charged with petty theft.
That's amazing.
And by the way, did you? First of all, was that your case? And ultimately, what happened with that? Did they have to return the cans?
The association made sure. John had an interesting case that we actually, Karen, if you go way back now, is a case that I had in Orlando, where the president of the association didn't like the fact that some owners kept their garbage bins out, their garbage cans out.
Right, right.
So he actually had a company go around one day and say, if you see the person's garbage can out, take it, steal it from, even though it's their property, and put it in some storage facility. And the same thing just happened to John and John's community, apparently.
Oh.
So,
is there something in the docs that says you can't have your cans out?
It's theft, right? There's something in your docs. You're breaking a rule. Okay. Doesn't mean that you lose.
You can't. Right.
Suppose you
commit a
park
felony.
your car. Can they, take your car for themselves?
Right.
So John is dealing with that same case. Showed him the video. If I know John, he's going to show that video to his association and say, before I go through what Eric had to go through, and then that association, maybe you want to give back our garbage cans. But John, I wish you a lot of luck on that. Always a great call, buddy. Thank you.
But Eric, what was the ultimate outcome of that? What happened?
I think,
Did
of
they
course,
get their cans back?
Because of they got their cans back because of the news exposure. It embarrassed the community. That I do remember. I don't remember if there was actually criminal charges that were filed against the president. But it could be. It's definitely possible that there was. The property was stolen. It didn't belong to him.
They did file against him. The sheriff investigated, pressed the charges against the guy, and I couldn't find out what, did they?
You can find out. Tune in next week. We'll give you the answer. All right, I'll research that.
Good.
Okay, John?
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. How about we go to Peter in Broward?
Hey, Peter, how are you?
Actually, we lost Peter.
We lost Peter.
So then let's do this. Let's take our bottom of the hour break. Keep the calls coming in, 877-850-8585. Again, 877-850-8585. Or put up your question in the chat box.
Staff of 65, Gerstle, Rosen, and Goldenberg is prepared to meet the needs of any condominium or HOA in the state. The professionals at Gerstle, Rosen, and Goldenberg also have experience working with timeshares, cooperatives, hotel condominiums, mixed-use buildings, and ancillary operations like restaurants, spas, and country clubs. Put their 25 years experience in your corner. Gerstle, Rosen, and Goldenberg, 305-937-0116. That's 305-937-0116 or grgcpa.com.
Someday, you will need insurance. And for that day, you'll be glad you wrote down Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. Why? Because Insurco virtually insures everything. They're a full-line insurance agency that'll put together the best possible coverage and premium for almost anything. Need homeowners or condo insurance? Call Insurco. Need auto or motorcycle insurance? Call Insurco. How about golf cart insurance or trailer and RV insurance? Just call Insurco for a free quote. They're open every day. From renters insurance, officers and directors insurance, and personal liability umbrellas to all types of business insurance, boat insurance, cancer policies, life, health, and annuities. All you need is Insurco. Get a free quote. They service Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Speak English and Spanish. Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. It's the only name you need. Office at 14401 West Sunrise Boulevard in Sunrise, inside Edmore Chevrolet.
Call 954-846-1206. 954-846-1206. That's 954-846-1206.
Need an insurance evaluation, audit, or quotation for your condo association or homeowners association? If so, then you need to speak with our insurance experts at Mack & Waltz. We insure over 800 associations, and we are the clear leader in this marketplace. Mack & Waltz has been in business since 1989. We write insurance on billions of dollars of property values. We are an independent insurance agency representing insurance companies which specialize in condo and HOA insurance. The staff at Mack & Waltz works closely with board members and property managers and regularly attends association meetings to help educate the association about their insurance policies. To learn more about how Mack & Waltz can save you money and improve your insurance program, call now 954-640-6225 and ask for Greg Waltz. 954-640-6225. Associates here on 850 WFTL. Karen Curtis with attorney Eric Glazer. He is the guy that has had. Well, how long has Glazer and Sachs been in business?
I've been doing this for 30 years now.
30 years.
Actually, 30. I passed the bar in 1992. It's now
Congratulations.
2022. So it's
yeah.
my 30th year. I can't
You
believe
are
that when I say that sometimes.
You are such an expert in this whole thing. You're board certified now. 60 Minutes is knocking on your door to do a special. I can't wait.
Yeah,
wow. You have to let us know when you're going to tape.
Listen, it was an international story when
Right.
the buildings collapsed.
It was, and
the bottom line is when you think about it, literally not a single law changed since that.
That's shocking.
So it's shocking. It's spitting on the grave.
98 people died.
And their families, right? And not a single change to any safety law in the state of Florida.
Well, and how many buildings
I'm
have
keep
been
talking about it until the legislature does something about it.
And how many buildings have been deemed unsafe since then?
Oh, well, then we finally got building officials to get off their butt now and go out. And what do? They go to a building. You have 15 minutes to get out.
Get out.
Why'd you let the building
know.
deteriorate to a point where you're kicking people
all
out with
these years?
15 minutes notice. I mean,
where have you been?
Right, exactly. Hey, let's answer some questions from the board. Kathy writes an interesting one. Kathy writes, silly question, but our condo has been cleaning the dryer vents for 10 years. Now, after the board installed new dryer vents that can be cleaned from the outside, the management company is saying it's our job to clean them and replace the vents when necessary. Our docs are silent. Your thoughts? The bottom line is those vents go from the exterior through the interior of your home, and I think that it has to be cleaned from the outside. So it has to be cleaned while you're standing on a common element.
No.
And that vent is going through a common element. So my answer, what do I think if it came down to an arbitration proceeding? I think that the association would be the entity that's required to make sure that those dryer vents are
beyond
cleaned.
the drywall, right?
Exactly. It's certainly past the unit owner. It's
That's right.
beyond. It's like exactly what you said, Karen. Behind the drywall, I think it's their problem. But it's a good question, Kathy. How about we go to Olivia in Panama City?
Hi, Olivia.
Hello?
Yes. Hey, Olivia.
Thank you so much for having your show. I've learned so much.
Thank you.
And I actually had a consult with your office in February, and they were so helpful.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And I'm so used to listening to everything, I always forget to call in, but I have an issue, and I'm hoping that you can help me. Our condo is 40 units, but we're also connected with the facilities, which is a part of our condo that's over 150 units. In November, they charged our condo a bill to create a website, and through official document requests, this website's going to have like all the official documents. It's going to have information. It's going to have all this stuff on it.
Right.
But I've been having problems with our condo for the last few years. So when I called your office in February, I wanted more information on how to educate myself on how to ask for official documents requests, how to get information that I can't find.
Right. Okay.
So I started doing some official document requests through emails, and I also would send them certified mail, like the person told me how to do it. And one thing that she told me to request was we have this lease storage unit that the board president referred to as either lease storage units that we lease out. So one of the official documents that I requested was last 7 years of leases for these lease storage rooms. And I didn't get any. I got a spreadsheet, but not these leases.
Right.
So then after the 10 days, I said, I'm still missing these leases. And they said, well, you have to come into the office and get them. And I'm like, that's fine. So I have a person representing me come to the office, and they're specifically looking for these leases. They don't exist.
Right.
Oh.
So then I have to ask more questions. So I want to know, well, who's leasing these units?
Right.
You know, why
Is
are
this
there,
so you're in a
and
condominium,
one
right?
question was,
Wait, you're in a
We're in a condominium.
Okay, so hold on. So let me stop you. Number one. So because you're in a condo, your question raises a lot of other issues. All right, number one, let's talk about access to records. If it's a record that the association is supposed to maintain, right, then like you said, these leases should be on file for at least 7 years. So you make your records request and you don't get them, even
They
if
don't
the board
exist.
doesn't have them, there's a case or two out there that basically says, well, you are obligated to maintain them, and you didn't, and therefore, association, you lose. So associations have to be really careful, okay, if they don't actually have the documents that they're supposed to have on hand. Okay, so that's bottom line. Then you made you said a certain.
I have another question.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I just wanted to tell our listeners one thing, because every question raises so many issues. You made some of your requests by email. So for condo board members out there and for managers, you got to listen very carefully about this. There's a case an arbitration case where someone asked for records by email, and the manager writes back and says, "Okay, no problem. I'll make sure you get access to it." Well, of course, the association did not provide the owner access to it. The unit owner sues, okay, in arbitration. And what is, of course, the defense of the condo? You didn't ask for it in writing. It had to be in writing. But what did the arbitrators say? No way, condo. We're not going to let you go down that route because, yes, you didn't have to treat the email as a writing, but once you did treat it as a writing, you had an obligation to honor the request of the owner to see the records within 10 days. So,
Hey, Eric,
yeah.
can you also explain
well,
how?
I
Sorry.
wrote them, I handed them in, and I also did certified mail. But it gets better because this is the reason why I'm calling you today. So I've asked for quite a bit of information because I can't get the answers I'm looking for not just the lease units, but for all around. I get a official records request bill in the mail for $1,695.50.
Oh, my
So,
God.
Wow.
I've had problems with contracts where I would, and these were questions that your office has been very helpful for me
Thank you.
understanding what documents I need to request.
Yeah, I would like to see
So
that
I
request for you to
requested
come up with
signed
1,600.
documents.
You know, send me something that shows
Was
that
that at
request for
25 cents a
$1,600.
copy? What the heck?
Yeah. I mean, I
I
got.
didn't ask for copies. I asked for requests. I didn't. I was actually at our condo, and I was willing to walk over to the office. And,
Right. So
I didn't
remember,
know what was in their best interest
the
as far
law.
as how to give it to me.
Okay, hold on. The law also says that you can walk in with your camera. You can walk in with your phone. You could walk in with your own copier and make copies of the records, and the association is not allowed to charge you for it. You can use all your own stuff. So I'd like
and
to.
that's what I was prepared to do. But how do I know? Because I always send the request, and then I wait for them to let me know how they're going to allow me to get it.
Well, yeah. You should put in your letter. Please contact me via the following email, via the following phone, within the next 10 business days, so that I know when to come in and inspect. That's how
But
I
how
send
many-
out every letter.
Don't they have a certain amount of units? They have to put everything up on the website.
Yeah, which is, and I think you said your neighbor has how many condominium units?
Okay, so we are in a condo with 40 units.
Right.
Okay.
However, we have a facilities, and this management manages both.
I understand.
And the facilities has over 150.
So then
Right.
everything should be on the website.
But I don't think that she has to be charged for paying for a website potentially, because
Right.
you're not required under the law to have one, right? Because
Right.
you're under 40. So I don't know. I'd have to know a little more about that relationship. But the requirement to have a website only applies to condos with 150 units or more. Now, if you want to
150.
talk about how ridiculous the law is.
Yeah, why is that like that?
Yeah, well, so the quick story. When that law came out, when it was first floated as a bill, I flew up to Tallahassee and I met with the legislator who had drafted the bill, because it was supposed to apply to 500 units or more.
How many of those are there?
Less than 1%.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, your bill helps nothing. It's a nothing
Right,
bill.
right.
So I said, how about we knock the number down to 50? The compromise number was 150. Okay, so if you're at 150, you have to have one. Does that mean if your condo is less than 150, you can't have one or you shouldn't have
No.
one? Absolutely not. In an HOA, right, if you have 150 homes or more, why aren't you required to have a
Right,
website? Or in a
right.
condo, if you have 150 units or more. So, again, the law just is so messed up. It needs tweaking on so many levels. And we talk about all these issues at every show, which is fantastic. And I try to do my best to get them in front of legislators in Tallahassee. But we got to take our final break of the hour. Taking your calls,
Can I charge you for that?
877-850-8585. Again, 877-850-8585. Or send us your questions on the chat board on YouTube, and we will be back right after this.
Is your home or condo looking old, worn out, and in need of a fresh look? Then you need PD Painting to paint your property and make it look like new again. PD Painting will first properly prepare your home and condo, and then use only the highest quality paint products. After many years in the painting industry, PD Painting has achieved a reputation for always delivering a reliable and professional finish. PD Painting is fully licensed and insured and offers a 7 to 10-year warranty. Their technicians are expert craftsmen. Let PD Painting handle all the details, and then sit back and watch them restore your property and bring back that brand new look and feel. Need a service call? PD Painting will be there on the spot. Need financing? PD Painting can offer that too. Call PD Painting at 888-416-3204. Again, that's 888-416-3204. Go to the website pdpaintinginc.com. Need painting done in your home and community? Contact the experts at PD Painting.
This message is for anyone who has taken on the important responsibility of becoming an officer or director in a homeowner or condominium association. It is also for the management companies who work closely with these caring people to make sure things are done the right way. Hello, I'm Gil Pomar, South Florida Regional President for Center State Bank, now the second largest bank based in Florida. Our bank, Center State Bank, has an amazing team of professionals who are exclusively dedicated to the homeowner and condo association market. Your job is not easy. There are repairs and new projects that need financing. There are legal and social issues that need to be understood. There are also technology and servicing issues that your residents want to be improved. Why not choose a bank that knows this business backward and forward? Why not have a local banker who will meet with you face to face whenever it is convenient for you or your board? Center State Bank has over 2,000 associations as customers for a reason. Please give us a chance to earn your business. Call Terry Russo at 954-633-1666 to make it happen. Center State Bank is an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new by means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561
YouTube channel, Condo Craze and HOAs. I just reposted. There is an opportunity to be on 60 Minutes with Eric if you're a board member. I know Boca Raton, you passed a law with the special assessments.
Way to go,
and,
City of Boca Raton,
yeah,
by the way.
And also inspections post Surfside.
Yep.
If you are dealing with this and you want to talk to 60 Minutes about it, please call Eric at 954. What is it, Eric?
983-1112.
983-1112.
Again, 954-983-1112. 60 Minutes wants to interview directors that are going through, the absolute crisis that is facing the condominiums in the state of Florida.
The number's on the chat.
Tall ones, right. So if you're interested in telling your story on CBS on 60 Minutes, they want to hear from you. Give me a call in the office, 954-983-1112. Or email
call
me.
us here.
Yeah, well, Eric at condo-laws.com. That's fine, too.
And if you want to call and ask him a question, it is 877-850-8585. And the lady you just had before, does she owe the $1,600?
I'd have to see why she
Okay.
got a $1,600 bill. But let me tell you what happened just before we came on the air today. I get an email from Jan Bergman from Cyber Citizens for Justice, right? And he says, you're not going to believe this. So what does he show me? He shows me a final judgment in a case in Palm Beach County Court where a unit owner took the association to arbitration over a records dispute, right? The unit owner wins the case in arbitration. The association takes an appeal, right? And they ask for what's called a trial de novo. The loser in arbitration can go to court and ask for a trial de novo, right? The case goes on for years. The unit owner loses. Okay?
Wins in arbitration, loses
Wins in
court.
arbitration, reversed it in court, right? You ready for the attorney's fees bill against her? You ready?
No.
Hold on. $390,000. $390. I saw it this morning. Anybody want to see it? I'll email it to you. I'm not saying the attorneys didn't earn it. I'm not saying they didn't work on it. But how obscene is it that a case over records went this far?
Yeah, keep that in mind to the previous caller. But so I'm so confused because mediation is binding, arbitration is not.
Mediation is not binding. Mediation is just a place where you go to try to work things out.
But I thought
arbitration is required in certain condo cases before
and
you
it's
can go to
binding?
courtroom. No, it's not binding.
Oh, none of it's binding.
Non-binding. You're allowed to ask for a trial de novo. So in this case, that's exactly what the condo did. And they said like 7 or 8 different attorneys worked on it over a few-year period. $390,000 judgment against the unit owner simply for
and she
asking
still
for
didn't get the records.
And she still didn't get the damn records, probably.
Oh, my
right.
gosh.
Right. So, I mean, I urge people to start off at the mediation table just
Can she
for
appeal
that
that?
reason. Yes, she would have to. She could potentially take an appeal if the circuit court made an error.
But then it gets more expensive.
Of course, and guess what? If the condo prevails on appeal, you're paying for their appellate attorney's fees as well. So it just goes from bad to worse. That's the bottom line.
What records did she want?
I have no idea. I don't know, but I did see the final judgment. Almost $400,000 against the unit owner, and if she's got assets.
Yeah,
she
they're
just
gone.
lost them simply for asking for access to records. So these types of disputes, I'm all in favor of the legislature mandating that they start out at the mediation table rather than even in arbitration or in a courtroom.
And you're a mediator, right?
Yeah, which I love to do. I mediate a couple of cases now each week,
nice.
resolving these types of issues. And to me, if, like I say to everybody, if at the end of this mediation, both parties feel like they got a little cheated, I did a good job. Yeah, that's exactly how mediation should work. You go to the table, you got to understand you're not going to get everything, but if you're willing to compromise, there should be a settlement without risking a $400,000 attorney's fee judgment against you. But that's what these little cases, turn into. I'll tell you one story real fast. I represented a condo many years ago in Hollandale, and there was a unique unit that was in a building. Haven't told this story in a while. And this unit overlooked the pool deck and the beach and the ocean. So the owner of a unit didn't like the fact that in order to go to the beach, they had to go through their front door, walk down a long hallway, past the elevator, past the mailboxes, out the back door.
They cut a hole in their gate.
Remember that case, Karen?
I
So
do.
they took a chainsaw and they turned their balcony, the railings on the terrace, into a swinging gate, and it was 27.5 inches off the ground. So in the morning to go to the beach, they jump down 27.5 inches. At the end of the day, they jump up 27.5 inches, right? And the condo says to me, okay, write the guy a letter telling him that he didn't own the railings. He's got to put it back. He's got to fix it. It's a material alteration. Right, exactly. So I write the guy a letter, and I get back a letter telling me what I could do with my letter. Right? So, okay, time to go to arbitration. We win in arbitration. The arbitrator says, put back the gate. He files an appeal, right, file for a trial de novo. The judge says, put back the gate, restore it. He files an appeal to the 4th District Court of Appeals. A 3-judge panel says, put the gate back. I think it's over then, right? No. He files a request for the Florida Supreme Court to hear the case. Denied. Okay? And
they didn't hear it or they denied it?
Just refused to even hear it, right?
Okay.
So let's just say attorney's fees were recoverable at every single stage of the litigation. So one day the guy went to his bank account, and it wasn't there. Let's just put it that way. So
oh my gosh, Eric!
That's why you got to be really careful. Don't let little cases turn into monsters like that. And every once in a while, you hear about a case like that.
Do you have to pay attorney's fees for arbitration?
The loser pays in arbitration. Yep.
So
absolutely.
You do pay attorney's fees for arbitration.
That's why cases should start out at the mediation table.
There's no attorney's fees?
Well, you're paying your attorney to go with you. Only paying yours. There's no risk of paying the others if you settle today. You're both splitting the cost of the mediator, and it just makes total sense.
But is mediation in condos or just HOAs?
You can have it both. I mediate both types of cases.
Then why did it go to arbitration for her?
She decided at the time it was a case that you had to file an arbitration.
Oh, okay.
Now the statute's been changed where instead of going to arbitration, in a condo case you can choose mediation first. And that's what I urge condo owners to do.
So that's how you've been married for so long. You're a mediator.
Yeah, I'm a mediator, right. I don't win my arguments. That I will tell you that. I get to mediate others. I don't get to win my own.
Then you have to pay your own attorney's fees.
Exactly. Not kidding. How about we go to Kathy in Boynton Beach?
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, good morning. Quick question. Live in a condominium. Served on board for many years. Live in a condominium that has neglected certain upgrades. One in particular is the tennis court. I mean, it's not for playing. Let's put it that way. My question is, lots of turnover going on. Frenzy buying, and these new people that are buying think they're getting a tennis court.
Right. Understood.
And you can get hurt on this tennis court.
Okay.
Now, there's no sign up that says not operational, do not enter, And so that's my first question. Shouldn't that, for safety purposes, be put up? And then my next question is, shouldn't the association right now be putting money, reserves, special assessment, whatever, to get this amenity operational?
Okay. The answer to that question is an obvious yes. If the condo was built with tennis courts, the association has an obligation to maintain those tennis courts. If you want to turn it into something else, right, you can take a vote of the unit owners, for example. Maybe you want to change it into additional parking instead. That would be require a vote of the unit owners. But since it's still up there as a tennis court, yes, they have an obligation to maintain it. They have an obligation to repair it, to fix it, no question at all. Now, what scared me about your question is when you threw in the fact that it's not in playable condition and someone can get hurt.
Yeah.
So what do I always teach at the seminars? If you have a situation where you're a board member and you know of a dangerous situation on the common elements and you don't fix it, potentially you can face individual liability under the statute. I mean, think about that. You can get sued in your individual capacity for failing to repair what needs to be repaired. So that's why I tell condos and HOAs. Hold on one second. One second, Kathy. One second, Kathy. So just because we really got to make this point, how important it is. When you see a safety issue as a board member, bottom line, you stop, you drop, you fix it. End of story. Now, is it an excuse if you get sued to say, well, we didn't have the money to fix the tennis court? No. So if I'm the judge, I'm going to say, okay, you're an association. Show me, did you make an attempt to pass a special assessment? No. Did you make an attempt to borrow money from a bank? No. Sorry, judgment for the plaintiff. Potentially against the directors in their individual capacity. All right, now, Kathy, you don't want to finish up.
Question. It doesn't have to be that the person that's suing the association didn't necessarily fall on the place, but bought, in the tennis court, but they bought and thought they had a tennis court, and they don't.
100%. They have a cause of action. They have a cause of action under the Florida statutes for several different things. Well, number one, breach of contract. Number two, breach of fiduciary duty. Number one, I think it's 718.119. Says if the board fails to make repairs that are needed, the court can issue an order requiring them to fix it. So absolutely, if you move into a community and it's promoted as a tennis court, and the tennis court is there, but you later find out that the tennis court really can't be used, of course you have a cause of action against your association for failing to maintain the property. No two ways about it. Okay?
Wow.
Wish you luck, Kathy.
Hey, by the way, Eric,
yes.
I was flipping through YouTube and saw a Steve Harvey clip.
That is so funny.
And was that you with your buddy?
That's what you know. What you're the second person that told me that this week. Someone calls me and says, remember I went to we went to California, me and a bunch of friends, and we got on the Steve Harvey show, and we were my question won, and the question was, Steve, I go to Vegas with my friends every year for the last 25 years in a row. The problem is each year our wives let us go on one condition, that we bring them back a better gift than the year before. So what started out with pens and pencils, we're now up to like Louis Vuitton bags, and we're sick of it. Right. And Steve, it's been, I don't know why, but all of a sudden, you're the second person to tell me it's been on YouTube and TikTok the whole week. So
you're about to be on 60 Minutes.
What a celebrity this week. I'm really feeling
are.
loved.
You're moving up.
Moving up. Thanks so much for listening, Kathy. All right. I think that's about it. That's a wrap, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Condo, Craze, and HOAs for another week, keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, and if you're a board member, contact Eric because he needs you.
Yep, me, Karen, Brandon, VJ, we all thank you for tuning in on YouTube as well. And if you need legal help during the week, give my office a call, Glazer and Sachs, at 954-983-1112, 954-983-1112.